Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome. Oh, my goodness. So I'm so glad to be here tonight, guys. Come on in. Come on in and let us know who you are and where you're watching from. And we're just going to share this out really quickly, Ava and I, to our communities so that they can find us over here. And let me just check here. Hold on 1 second.
I was say, how do I share it?
Yes. So go ahead. Tell us where you're watching from, guys. Go ahead and share this live. If you know someone who is going through a transition right now and needs this resource, go ahead and share that out for us, please, if you would. Go ahead and click on that like button as well. And I am so excited to have with me tonight, guys, Avalaura Gaither. She is dynamic and she is really going to drop some knowledge for us tonight. So Avalaura, she is the founder and CEO of Avalaura's Healing Center in the DMV. Now, I'm going to let Ava introduce herself, and she's going to tell you about all the wonderful and dynamic things she's doing, because she is really such a wonderful resource and person and coach. So Ava, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
First of all, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
And I hope I'm not echoing to everybody because I hear an echo on my end. So how do I sound to you? Do I sound okay?
Okay, do you still hear the echo?
No, that's so much better. But now I don't. Okay, but I was going to say, but now I don't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. So as you said, I'm a life coach and intuitive coach, a life coach and intuitive consultant, and I'm based out of the DC area. And although I work with clients literally worldwide now, which is really, really awesome. And, I worked with a lot of people in leadership. I work with a lot of leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, very mission-driven people. People who are not about being average or mediocre, people who really, do want this thing called living our best lives, right? And they're willing to do the work to achieve it. But for whatever reason, they're realizing they're stuck in somewhere in their life, in their relationships, in their business, or in their career. And they finally figured out that they kind of can't do it alone, that they need help. And that's when they call me and say, okay, Avalaura, what is it, that I'm doing wrong? What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I just can't see? What is going on? And I really provide a holistic approach for my clients in a very safe space, and really helping them from whole to wholeness in all those different aspects of their life, relationship, business, and career. So, we're here talking about relationships today. That's a huge most people, particularly when you've achieved some level of success, because, when there's some level of success, relationships get even more difficult to navigate.
Right. That's so true.
I'm really excited about this.
Awesome. So, hi, Tanya. Am I saying that right? Welcome. Go ahead and share this out for us and let others know about the live here. And so I know tonight, Ava, you're going to talk about a number of things with us. And I'm so excited because one of them is something that I talk about all the time. And so you're going to be sharing the three keys that we need, right? The three effective things that we can do to really help us transition through this journey of divorce. And so I know many of us are maybe at the starting point. Some of us are maybe midway through or are actually finishing up the process, right? And so now we're getting to that point where we're at the healing process of things. And so tonight, what you're going to share with us, I am really excited to talk about with you, because it's something that everybody goes through. And so I kind of just want to go ahead and dive in. I don't want to delay. And we're going to be talking about attachment bonds. And I know, like, this is your jam. Like, I really like what you have to say about attachment bonds. So that's going to be the first topic we talk about. We're going to talk about emotional wellness and then self-awareness, which is a really big one too. So starting off with the attachment bonds, like, really tell us what that is. What is that, first of all, and how does it affect one when we're going through this process and through this journey of divorce?
Yeah, first and foremost, what I want to say is, in addition to my background, people like, why, who are you and why are you talking about this? I have a background in mental health and counseling. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in social work from Howard University. And really through a series of events, I started off in the traditional, social work wellness model, thought I was going to save the world and heal and help everybody. And, got into the social work field. And, I was a program director at an outpatient mental health clinic. And I realized that I wasn't helping people to heal, but I was simply helping people to maintain their dysfunction. And so for me, that's not what it was about. For me, I was really committed to helping people to transform their lives. And I realized that I could not do that within the system itself. Okay. And so I had a choice to make, right? I had a choice to make whether I was going to stay, in this field and not really fully serve people and provide this cookie cutter approach to healing, or if I was really going to be able to do what people needed, and that's a customized approach to healing, really helping them holistically, mind, body, spirit, and soul, and seeing them for who they are and understanding that as an individual, you have individual needs and therefore need approach. Right. And so that was really important for me. And so I took my own, healing sabbatical. I took my own 6-month healing sabbatical and did all that work. Who am I? Why am I here? What are my gifts? How can I best serve? What can I do that nobody else can do? So I did all of that work. And at the end of that, sabbatical in 2005, I opened up Avalaura's Healing Center. And so that's what I've been doing now for over 13 years.
Amazing. That's wonderful.
I think it's important for people to know that, because there's so many people out here talking about this stuff, and it's like, well, who are you and how do you know? And what? This is what I do all day long. This is what I love. This is what I breathe for. This, like you said, this is my jam. And then in addition to that, talking about healing after divorce, I am recently divorced. I was married 14 years and have been divorced now for a little over a year. So I kind of know what I'm talking about just a little bit. So been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So you're talking about somebody who's experienced. I don't tell my clients or anybody anything that I haven't done or will not do.
And I think that's really important. And that's the whole premise of having the series, is to bring you guys the dynamic leaders in the field who are really, really making a difference and an impact. They're not just talking about this. This is something that they live and breathe. And so I'm just so happy that you're here with us tonight. I think it's important to share that with the people so they really understand the background of where you're coming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we talk about attachment bonds, this is something that I learned very early on, because again, sort of coming out of that traditional model, I said, okay, that model is missing a lot. People are not really getting well. They're not, it's such a Band-Aid cookie cutter approach. And so, I started studying spirituality and these things called energy and Reiki and hypnotherapy and aromatherapy and yoga and meditation and all of these things. And through that training, one of the things that I came upon was something called cord of attachment. Now, when I usually say cord of attachment, people are like, well, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about, birth, giving labor, cutting the umbilical cord? And I'm like, no, I am not a doula. I'm not a midwife. I'm not a nurse. I'm not cutting those kind of cords. But in cord of attachment, what we're talking about is cutting those energetic cords or those attachment bonds that you're talking about. And this is really important when we're talking about the healing process, because often what happens is in relationships, right, we decide that for whatever reason, a relationship is not working for us. So in a divorce, we decide to get a divorce, or maybe you're not married, but it's a significant relationship. You break up, right? Or you just decide you're not going to deal with this person anymore if it's a friendship or something like that. But what happens is, so we sort of consciously make this decision, but energetically, we're still attached to that person, right? Because we got to understand that everything is energy. Everything, this device, whatever is your phone, your laptop, whatever you're watching this on right now is energy. The chair that you're sitting on is energy. You know what I mean? If you look at everything around you, it is energy. The sun, the moon, the stars, your furniture, everything is energy. We are all energy. So when we look at that, that's the one true thing about anything. And if you don't understand that concept, or not consciously, Just think about a time when you have met someone or, come into contact with somebody for the first time and you're like, oh, I really like her. She's cool. You don't really know nothing about her, but you like her. I like her energy, right? Or you come across against somebody for the first time and you're like, ooh, I really don't like this person. And it's not anything they said or did. You just didn't like the vibe. You didn't like the feeling. Or you go into a new space and it feels really good to you and you feel open and expansive and you feel safe. And you're like, oh, I love the energy in here. It just feels good.
Right. Yeah. I think we've all experienced that.
Yes, we've all experienced that. Or you go into a space and you shut down and you're like, oh, I don't like the way it feels in here. So you close down and you realize like, nah, I don't feel good in here. The energy don't feel right. Please don't kill my vibe. I'm not liking this. It's energy. So you might not have a name for it. You might not consciously get it, but unconsciously in your spirit, in your soul, your emotions, everything is processing that and holding on or letting go of that. And so in a relationship, and particularly in an important relationship, in a significant relationship where you've spent time with this person, you poured into this person, they poured into you, you've been intimate with this person, there are all kinds of energy connections going on. So just because you decided that the relationship is over, your energy is like, no, they still lying. They still with me, right? Mm-hmm. You had those like, gosh, we broke up, but I just can't let them go.
Can't let it go, right?
That energy is still going back and forth. You still have an energetic tie or energetic connection to that person. So no, you can't let it go because you're still attached. So when we're talking about those energetic bonds, it's understanding that in order to fully let go of relationships, and I'm not saying this for all relationships, but in particularly significant relationships, you have to do something I call like a cord of attachment, cutting the cords to release that energy and let it go. So now you're free of it and you can start anew.
Wow. Yes. I so agree with that. And so a lot of times the ladies, when they come to me, they're just saying, I just can't seem to let it go. I can't let it go. I don't know what I'm doing, but I still feel like, I can't, detach from it right now. And so that's what we're talking about, right? Those cords of attachment.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
So what are some things, or maybe give us one example of something that, we can do, or that the ladies can do to work on that, to try to start the process of letting go?
Yeah, what's really important, and this sort of goes back to, and I'll be talking about it, when the 3 keys to really healing. But the first key that I always say is that acceptance. I call my 3 keys my AAA, and the first A is acceptance. And this is so important because oftentimes what happens is we try to go into denial about things that we don't like or we don't understand or we're trying to avoid. Right? And so when you're in a situation like this, the first thing you got to accept is that, you know what? You decided that this relationship is over, but your energy decided that it was not.
Okay.
You are still attached, whether you like it or not. You're still attached. Same thing in my marriage. The reason it lasted 14 years should have never lasted 14 years, but it lasted 14 years because I was still attached and not ready to let it go. Mm-hmm. That's real. Don't judge it. Accept it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it, but just accept that that's what it is.
So acceptance is the first key.
Acceptance. Once you accept it, then you can start doing something. But if you're going to go into denial, no, I'm fine, I'm good. And then you start going out there dating and trying to start other relationships and sabotaging everything because you're still not ready, because you're not fine, you're not good, right? So just being honest with yourself and accepting your situation for what it is, letting go of the judgment and just saying, I don't like it, I don't love it, but this is the situation. So now what am I going to do?
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. When you hear someone else talk about it, right, and they're not in the situation that you're in, because you're in it, you don't really see it, right? Yep. So it's so helpful to have someone to say to you, look, this is what it is. This is what you're experiencing. This is why you can't, let it go. This is what's happening right now. And so that first step, like you said, is acceptance. And so let's keep going on with that. So what else?
Yeah, so my AAA, so acceptance is that first key to really to healing. Any type of transition. We're talking about divorce now and relationships, but any type of transition, just accepting the place that you're in right now. So the
Okay.
second key or the second A is ask. It's
Yes.
ask. Because once you've accepted where you are and you know that this is the place, now it's time to ask for what you need.
Mm.
And a lot of times that means we got to ask for help. Ooh,
Okay.
not
Yes.
that. Ooh, I can't do that. Who wants to do that, right? You got to ask for help. And many women in particular, my type A, high powered, successful women are so allergic to asking for help. You know
Mm.
what? I'm supposed to be able to do it all. My mama did it all. My grandmother did it all. My great grandmother did it all. I don't need nobody. I can do it all by myself. I can be bad all by myself. Blah, blah, blah. Well, look what happened to your mama, to your grandmama, to your great grandmother. How are they? How's their health? How's their well-being? Were they really good not asking for help and doing everything all on their own?
Yes.
Not. Probably not. So
Yeah.
really allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Be vulnerable and asking for help, asking for what you need. So whether that be professional help, whether that means, you know what, I realize where I am, I don't like it, I know I can't change this on my own, I need to go to a coach, a counselor, to a therapist, what have you, whether that is having a friend that you can confide in and talk to,
Mm-hmm.
whether that is, just realizing that I need to ask my mate or whoever I'm in a relationship with for help, right? I need to, there's certain things that I need from them. Whatever it is, asking for what you need.
Really important piece.
Yeah, because most of us we just don't want to do that. We
Yeah.
don't think that we don't think that if we ask, we'll get what we want. Oh, I've asked people before and they didn't help me. They left me hanging and I'm the only one in my circle. Everybody comes to me and asks me for help. But then when I go to everybody else, they don't help me. So I don't even have anybody that I can ask. All of these different things start to come up.
Right. And the fear of rejection too, as well.
Absolutely.
I've asked before and I didn't get what I needed. So why should I ask now?
Yes. And then so my question is then why are these people in your circle? If they can come to you for help and you help them, but you go to them for help and they never help you, why are they in your circle? Why are they in your space? Maybe it's time for a cord cutting for them too, because they don't need to be there.
Mm. Good point. Good point. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I have a lot of women that is, and I tell them they got to ask for help and they look at me like I just said a 4-letter word. Like I just called them something out their name. They're like, I don't need no help. What are you talking about? Why I got to do that? Okay.
Yeah, how's that going for you so far?
Okay.
Good question.
And so it's a very real issue. But once you can get over that and you ask for help and you get the help that you need, now it's time for that third A and it's time to take action.
Okay.
And this is huge because so many of us, we get the information, your ask might be, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to take this workshop. I'm going to do these things. And we consume, we're a consumer driven society. So we consume all of this information. Some people call it shelf help. You got all these books and stuff sitting up there. The shelf help is sitting on your in your library or, on your shelf, on your bookcase and all these things. But you take the information. If somebody asks you a question, you can regurgitate it, you can tell them, but you haven't actually taken action.
Right. Yeah. So you need to apply it, right? It's one thing to read it and get the information, but it's a different thing to actually apply it. And like you said, sometimes you might need assistance or help in that area of applying it.
Absolutely. But the key is once you get it, you have to then apply it. You have to do the work. And that's why I started off in the beginning telling you about who I am and what I have done, because you understand I've done the work. I'm not just sitting here talking about it, because a lot of people will do that and they'll sound very knowledgeable. They'll sound good because they've done the work. They've done the homework. They've done the research, but actually applying it into your life is a whole nother ball game. That's where the change happens. You cannot create change, you cannot transform, you cannot heal without action.
Right, right. And that's so important. And that's a vital and critical piece that so many people miss. And so That is great. So the 3 A's, and so we're going to write them in there at some point. We're going to get them all in there listed for everybody. But I really, really like that. You have to take those into consideration. And so moving past that point, Ava, share with us then how we get into the process of being well emotionally, like this emotional wellness piece. How do we actually start to work on that?
Yeah, this is huge. This is probably one of the biggest areas of breakthroughs that I end up seeing with my clients. Because the truth is, we have not been taught how to be emotionally well. I mean, think about it. That's not you're not going to learn it in school. There's not an emotional well-being class, right? You're going to learn how to do algebra and geometry and English and history, but you're not going to learn how to take care of you. And so you're not going to learn it in school. You usually don't learn it from your parents because your parents don't know. They know taught them, so this is not something that you learn from, from your group, not your family, not your friends, not, wherever you were raised, whoever raised you, your school system, your environment, you're not learning this information. So usually you have two people coming together in a relationship who have no idea how to process, understand, and take care of their emotions.
Wow. So we're not equipped to handle our emotions.
We're not equipped.
And it's such a dire need for it, but we have no idea how to do it.
No clue. And it's so interesting when I do couples counseling and I'm listening to and I'm like, they're not even listening to each other. They're not even on the same page, and they don't even realize it because, again, emotionally, they can't even process what's going on with them, let alone with somebody else.
Wow. So before we transition into dealing with that, I just want to take a look at the comments really quick because I see it scrolling, but I don't know what anyone's saying yet. So let's take a look and see what we have in here. Hi, Granita, welcome. All right, so good stuff. Yes, it is good. So Ava really knows her stuff, guys. I'm so glad she's here with us. So Chanya, put that in. Thank you for dropping that in there, those 3 A's, right? Acceptance, ask for help, action. Oh, she said action and apply. I like that. That's 4 A's. Very good, very good. So as we're going along and as Ava is sharing with us and she's being so helpful, if you guys have questions or comments, just go ahead and put them in the chat box, all right? So we'll make sure that we get to those. And if you're catching the replay, go ahead and do that as well. Join in the conversation. So yeah, so let's get back to it, Ava. So continue talking to us about this emotional wellness piece.
Yeah, so one of the things when we're talking about emotional wellness is understanding the purpose of our emotions, okay? Why we even have emotions in the first place. Because a lot of people, if you ask them, they just think, our emotions are, just painful, right? And like, what's the point? All they do is hurt. I'm so tired of being angry. I'm so tired of being depressed. I'm so tired of being anxious. And so they don't even understand that emotions have an actual real purpose because all they seem to do is somehow hinder you or keep you stuck or, keep you feeling down. Right. And so there's this thing, like, oh my God, feelings. I got to work through my feelings. Like, oh, who wants to do that? Right. That hurts too much. That's too painful. And so what it is, the way I break it down to my clients is this: you got to understand that emotions, your feelings are just as important as how you think. Right. And then they both work hand in hand together. So understanding that your thinking is a function of your ego or your brain. And we live in this sort of left-brained society where we really value think. Right. Think about it. How I just said, think about it. Right. Like we really value thinking and, oh, you're so smart. I like the way you think, or, you look at, how people, consider folks successful. They're the greatest thinkers, things. So we really sort of overvalue thinking and we undervalue feeling.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not supposed to cry in public, stop that, shut it down, men not supposed to cry, women, you can't be at work and break down and crying, that's not professional. It's we overvalue thinking and undervalue feeling. but they're just as important. They work hand in hand to provide wholeness. So your thinking is a byproduct of your brain, of your ego, and your feeling is a product of your spirit.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
We don't talk about spirit. We don't
Right.
value spirit. They both work hand in hand. They need to come together to provide wholeness. So if all you're doing is operating out of think, think, think mode, guess what? You're missing a whole side of you. That is valuable information. You are not a whole, complete person. You are not functioning at the top of your game. You're not functioning in wholeness. You are literally half of yourself. And on the flip side, if you're just feel, you know, those airy fairy people, they seem just so ungrounded. You know, yeah, you're going to cry at the drop of a dime. You know, you just feel all the time, can't control your emotions, and you're not thinking. Again, you're operating out of one side of yourself. You are not whole and complete. You need to be able to successfully operate out of both sides.
Okay.
They work together.
Yes. So that's an imbalance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And most people have that imbalance. Most of us are very comfortable thinking, but we're not comfortable feeling. And so because we're not comfortable doing it, that is uncharted water, so to speak. You know, we don't really want to go there. There's that creates that natural divide and imbalance that it keeps getting bigger and bigger, because the older you get, the less you learn how to feel because you just haven't done it. So now you go through something like a divorce or a breakup or some major transition, and you lose your mind because you've never dealt with anything on this level before. And it's so painful because you have not operated out of your emotions.
Wow. Yes. Yes. So yeah, so we're not equipped to handle it. We've never processed it. We've never actually tapped into it. So now that we have this life event that has happened to us, right? We really can't function off of that emotional piece or even that thinking piece. And I think we got a question in here that says, how does one feel more and think less, right? Because we're not tapping into those emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not. You know, so one of the biggest things, if I can go back to awareness, is that understanding that that is what you're doing, right? You know, how many of you are, you know, thinking too much and not feeling enough? You know, a lot of times when clients come to me, it's very quickly I can see, particularly, you know, most of my clients are very well educated, have master's degrees, PhDs, you know, law degrees. And so they're used to being in think mode because truthfully, that's how the education system has programmed us. And so they're very in their heads. But when they come to me for coaching and counseling, well, that requires you to be in feel mode. That requires you to get out of your head and get into your heart.
Yes.
So how many of you are always in your head but not in your heart? Or do you even know the difference?
It's a great question. And I think a lot of people need to kind of sit with that for a moment and ask themselves that question, because where are we functioning from? So, you know, like you said, if a lot of high level women, and so those women who perform, they have a high level job at work, they're always just go, go, go. They're in management, they're delegating, right? So they're always in think mode. It's always working from that place. So we can't seem to tap into that emotional space. And I call it the heart space, that we should be trying to tap into sometimes. And so talk to us about that a little bit more. How do we tap into that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways. I mean, there's a whole process that I take my clients through to do that. And it's about a 6-week process that we work through for that. But one of the ways that you can do that simply is through meditation. That's, you know, meditation is one of the things that I love. You know, I teach all the time. And, you know, regardless of whether a client is coming to me, you know, for coaching or counseling, or whether it's, you know, energetic healing, Reiki, or cord cutting, whatever, I always want to make sure that they know about meditation and how to meditate, because it's such an integral part of our lives and our well-being if we practice it and utilize it, right? Because everybody knows the benefits. We always talk about how great it is, but nobody does it.
Right.
So, you know, so if we're actually doing it. But meditation is a beautiful way of getting out of your head and really getting into your heart space. And you know, sort of noticing what's going on in your heads. You know, one of the things I do is I like to take my clients through an exercise so that they can start to even be aware of what's going on in their heads. Because a lot of times, if you think about it, we don't even know what's going on. We're not even tuned into our heads to understand what we're even thinking. It comes out unconsciously, but we're not consciously aware of even what we're thinking and how often we're thinking and what's constantly coming up for us.
Wow. Yeah, because a lot of times we're just working on autopilot, right? We're
That's
just kind of going through the motions, dealing with the day to day, just trying to get through and make it by, right? And like you said, we're not even conscious of even what we're thinking or feeling. Wow, that's a takeaway.
Yep. So that the meditation allows you to sort of tune out those thoughts and really tune back into yourself. And, you know, what I find is that one of the biggest barriers for people to really feeling is not so much that they don't know how to feel, because the truth is your feelings, you know, will hit you over the side of your head if you don't address them, right? You know, your feelings have a way of just creeping up on you. You can try to stuff it and suppress it as long as you want, but your feelings are going to come up and out one way or another. True. And so one of the things that I recognize is not so much that people aren't always feeling, it's just that when their feelings come, they don't know what to do with them. Okay. They're like so clueless. So there are definitely times that we have that we're out of our heads and we're definitely in our hearts, we're feeling, but because you don't know what to do with them and it's so painful, you try to stuff your feelings back down. So that's why you have people who, you know, are drinking and smoking and eating and, you know, doing all these things to try to, you know, really disconnect from their feelings.
Got you.
Instead of saying, okay, now this is coming up. It's coming up for a reason. This feeling is trying to tell me something. This feeling is a function of my spirit. It's an intuitive message. It is here for a reason. What is it trying to tell me so that I can deal with it, address it, and let go of this feeling?
Right. So yeah, so it's something that we need to be in tune to, right? Because if not, then like you said, it's just going to overflow, because if we're constantly trying to repress it, not deal with it, put it in a box somewhere, at some point it is going to come out and let you know, hey, you know, you need to deal with this. And that's exactly what it's trying to tell us, right? This is something you need to address and you need to deal with it. And so,
I mean, I've had clients who literally told me like, Avalaura, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for a breakdown. I don't have time to feel this. I don't care if you don't have time for it, but your feelings one way or another are going to say, oh, you don't have time? Bam. Okay, now you're going to get sick. Bam. Now you're going to lose your job. Bam, now you're going to have this breakup. Some way or another, it's going to come out.
That is so true. And I'm glad you brought that up, because things will manifest themselves physically in your body. This is something that I try to tell people and talk with ladies about all the time. You know, when you're constantly getting sick and you're constantly feeling down and fatigued and all of these things, at some point in time, listen, your emotions, your physicalness, your spirit is going to manifest itself, and it will reflect physically, correct?
Absolutely. It absolutely will. And, you know, that's one of the reasons that I love combining the energy healing with the coaching and counseling, because when I'm doing Reiki, I can literally feel it in people's bodies. I mean, I can literally feel those suppressed emotions that, you know, they're not really comfortable with, that they're sort of holding on to, and it needs to come up and out.
Right. Yeah, so let's just check the comments real quick as we continue on. So Chanya, she says meditation. Yes, definitely meditation. Guys, listen, I've started I call it my spiritual practice in the morning. Meditation is one part of that. You know, I mean, and it's making such a difference, I can't even tell you. She says, find the balance and align spirit and mind to feel and think. Yeah, Chanya, some people do say that. I don't have time for a breakdown, but listen, when it comes, it's coming. You got to deal with it or not. Right? Oh, my goodness. So then let's talk about this last piece. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, Ava. It was the self-awareness piece. And so I think we'll kind of like wrap up with that piece. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, so absolutely. So when I talk about, you know, that first A of acceptance, you cannot accept something that you're not aware of. Right? So you have to be aware of it first to be able to accept it. And my motto is you have to see it and feel it and then heal it.
Wow.
So that self-awareness is the seeing part. You got to see, feel it to heal it. That is how you're going to heal. So self-awareness is everything. And again, understanding that self-awareness doesn't mean that you like where you are, or what's happening to you, or what's going on in your life. It doesn't mean that you like it. It doesn't mean that you love it. It doesn't mean that you're happy with it. It simply means that this is what is going on. This is where you are. And you know, through this healing work, one of the things, truth is, you end up finding out stuff about yourself that you're not gonna like. You're not. You know, I found out stuff about myself going through the whole divorce process, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was like that. You know, I was trying to blame him for this stuff, but you know what? Oh, that was ugly, Avalaura.
Right. We gotta take.
Did you really do that? Right? Absolutely. That's self-awareness. It's like I gotta see me, the good, the bad, the ugly, flaws, and all. That is self-awareness. So it's simply just seeing yourself in your fullness, in all of your fullness, who you are, understanding who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. Because we all have all of those sides. Nobody is perfect, and we're not supposed to be perfect. I don't have a problem with you not being perfect. I have a problem with you thinking you're perfect and you're not. So when you are self-aware, you know who you are. You know your weaknesses. You know your strengths, right? You know when you did something wrong, and you know when you killed something. But you have to know those things about yourself. That is that self-awareness piece.
Wow, right. And you're so, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a SWOT assessment on yourself.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. You have to know those things, and you have to be able to take responsibility for your part in whatever situation you're in. And so I am so in agreement with that. And so as we get ready to wrap up here, this was so good. Like, we need to have you back, because this is amazing information that you're sharing with us, and I so appreciate it. But before we wrap up and you give us your last thoughts, why don't you tell everybody if you have anything going on right now and where they can find you?
Absolutely. So I am Googleicious. You can literally find me everywhere online. There's only one Avalaura. So, you know, literally you type in Avalaura, I'm going to pop up. That is my website, avalaura.com. You can find me on all social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And I always have something going on. So definitely plug into my mailing list. You want to do that when you go to avalaura.com. You can, you know, connect with me on all social media, mailing list, all of that stuff. You can also see what I have going on. Right now, I'm doing a series of Reiki trainings. That's probably the biggest thing that I have going on right now. So if you're interested in learning energy healing and how to do that for yourself or your loved ones, Reiki is really an awesome approach. And talking about these emotions and things like that is a really wonderful way of getting it up and out of your body. Wow. So Reiki is really awesome for that. So that's something that I always have going on, the Reiki trainings. I have a podcast as well that you can tap into. And I have I do a lot of speaking. So I'm pretty much speaking everywhere. So the best thing is get on my mailing list, connect with me on social media, so you can always kind of stay abreast of everything that I have going on. And of course, like events like this, right? You can just tap into them.
Yes, and I know you're so busy. I see you speaking all the time. I'm like, gosh, she's so busy. She's everywhere.
I just had a whirlwind. I was literally gone for like the last 3 weeks, and I was like, where am I now? Orlando, California. Am I on West Coast time? I don't even know what's going on right now.
Listen, it's hard being multicoastal, right? Like, you never can, be aware of the time zones, and you're always like, what? But listen, I am just so grateful that you took some time out to come in and pour into us this information and your knowledge. It was so helpful. I'm going to check the comments really quickly, see if anybody has any last moment comments going on. Self-awareness, you must acknowledge and see yourself in your fullness. That was a great takeaway, guys. Yes, you're welcome. They're saying thank you. Thank you both for the information. Renita, I'm glad you caught it tonight. Yes. So guys, make sure that you go and follow Ava. Actually, I'm going to ask you, Ava, to put your links down below the broadcast when we're done, so the people can easily go on there and click and get to you. Guys, go ahead and follow her. Such great information. So any last minute thoughts before we close out for tonight?
Absolutely. You know, I saw some of the comments, and I'm glad that, thank you for posting those. And, you know, like I said, understanding that you got to see it to feel it to heal it, but understanding too that a part of the, you know, the emotional process, even when we're talking about self-awareness, again, everything that we're talking about has this real cyclical effect to it. Right? They all feed into the next. So when you are self-aware, you have more awareness with your emotions. When you are more aware of your emotions, you are more self-aware. Right? So they all feed into the other. And understanding with our emotions, you know, one of the biggest things that I want to say is that it is really not scary to process your emotions. I know a lot of times we think it's so scary and it's so painful, but it's just because we don't have the right tools and we don't know what we're doing. Yeah. But if you are a woman of power, you know, this is what I say. If you are a woman of power, you have to stand fully in your emotions. You have to. You cannot be a woman of power and you're not fully present and emotionally aware. You simply cannot. Because what happens is your emotions will always get the best of you if you are not aware of them. Here you are thinking you so great and so wonderful, and you always angry and you don't even realize it. You know, wow. I had a client who said, you know, one of the reasons that she kept coming back to me is because her kids, true story, her kids actually said to her, "Mommy, why are you so happy?" And she was like, she didn't realize she was so unhappy. I mean, she knew it, but she didn't realize that they understood it. And here they are looking at her like, "What's wrong with you? You're happy."
Right, and that should be a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right. But it hurt her because she was just like, "Oh my God, I was that unhappy that even my kids recognized it. I didn't even realize how bad it was."
Wow.
And that's what she kept coming back, because she said, "I didn't realize how bad it was until people around you will notice."
Yes.
People around you will absolutely know. So here you are thinking one thing about yourself, and everybody else is talking about you behind you. "Girl, did you see what she did? Did you see what she said? Why did she post that on social media?" And you're so unaware, you're thinking that what you're doing is okay.
Wow. Right, right.
So emotional awareness is your power. You are a powerful, dynamic boss woman when you can control your emotions and be aware of them. And when I say control them, it doesn't mean stuff them down and repress them. I mean that you understand them, you can process them, release them, and let them go.
Yes, so necessary. So necessary.
So necessary.
And if you can't do it, and if you're struggling with that, right, then find someone who can help you. Reach out to those people who are in your circle, someone who can refer you to someone else, people like Ava and myself who are here, and this is what we do full time. Guys, I am just so excited for you to get this information from her, because these are gems. I really, really appreciate your time, Ava. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to wrap up and leave it at that. Ava's going to drop her links below so that you guys can easily get to her. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.